The career revival of the season goes to new heights. The Powers pointed history reminder and the Tigers exposed in the grand final rematch. All that and more to come from the round so far, brought to you by AAMI. But Kane Corns, the Demons, they're 8-0. They were challenged at the MCG tonight and they got the 4 points.
Yeah, and that's what I like about their season. They've done it at times when they have been challenged. There's the great Ron Barassi singing the song after the game. It was a good game of footy. It was a finals-like game at the MCG under lights in tricky conditions once the rain came down. But you can see that. Well, what a story it has been for that man, Simon Goodwin, the coach under the most pressure with Nathan Buckley coming into the season. And they've responded in a big way. They've got all facets of the game covered right now, really strong behind the ball. Their midfield is led really well by Max Gawn. They've got some stars in there. And as we're about to talk about, their forward line was pretty potent tonight.
And a lot of those players have walked off that very ground in that exact moment, being booed and jeered by their home fans. So it's great to see at the MCG tonight. You spoke about that forward line. Tom McDonald stayed there. They had the option to put him back to replace Adam Tomlinson. They went with Harrison Petty, and these are the dividends.
Yeah, it's a massive tick for their coaching staff and their selection panel to keep Tom McDonald forward. I was of the belief that, Tomlinson out, McDonald is a renowned defender, to put him back, but justified in keeping him forward. He was the best man on the ground tonight by a mile. He had 18 disposals, 7 marks, he kicked 4 goals, and efforts like this, that's why you do your pre-season, that's why you get in the gym, that's why you get hardened and strong. Defensively, really good, and everything he touched turned to gold tonight. He was just on fire, and Petty is a good size. Like, he's 197 centimetres. He looked good behind the ball as well, and Ben Brown in particular in the first half was excellent as well. He kicked 3. They didn't get in each other's road. Max Gawn can rest down there. Luke Jackson can rest, and they got some good medium-sized forwards in Fritsch and also Melksham, and then the smalls that they've got there as well. And Cozzy Pickett didn't have a big night tonight, but has had a great season with his 14 goals.
The Demons couldn't give Tom McDonald away last year. It has to be the best career revival of the season. He's now such an important player in the 8-0 team, top of the table right now. Buddy Franklin, first game back from his knee injury. Kane was held to 6 disposals by Stephen May.
Yeah, he just had no influence, didn't score at all. Buddy Franklin, he's lost confidence in his goal-kicking ability as well. He could have had a couple of shots from right on 50 or just outside. He had one that didn't make the distance and one he elected to pass. He's clearly not confident, whether it's his groins, his knees, or just old age, whether he has that penetration anymore. But because the ball was coming in like this is what Melbourne's defence relied on. They're so good at delaying the ball up the field to give Lever and May the opportunity. But Stephen May is excellent when he's free, but he's also just as good in the one-on-ones. And you can see, how many one-on-ones did he win or neutralise tonight? So what a season he has been. Lever wasn't as prominent tonight. He was down. I don't think he even had a mark tonight, but Stephen May definitely the better in that one-on-one with Buddy.
Sydney came, they had 93 tackles. They also won the centre clearances 17-4, but Melbourne held on. Clayton Oliver, 35 touches and 19 of those were contested. To Adelaide next, Kane, the Power, they continued their showdown run with 4 on the trot. But this happened post-game. They were told not to wear the prison bars. They weren't allowed to wear them. They changed into them post-game.
Yeah, bit of a statement, wasn't it, to Eddie Maguire in particular, and I think probably more so to the AFL with this issue isn't going to go away. What they had to do was win the game, and they clearly had the prison bar jumpers that they were planning to wear ready as the players come off to change into. Look, the fans would love it. It's gone viral on social media, and well done more so for the way that they performed tonight. It was a predictable result with where Adelaide are at and where they're going to be at for the next 2 to 3, perhaps 5 years. But strong performance from Port Adelaide, and that made a statement to the competition.
And it looked like they smashed on the outside with their speed for large parts of the Power. It will come at a cost, though. Scott Lycett will be looked at for this incident on Ned McHenry. McHenry was subbed out of the game with concussion, Kane.
Yeah, he's going to miss, I would think, 2 to 3. That's what the AFL is trying to eradicate. When the player goes off, you'll see Ned McHenry is in all sorts. Didn't know where he was. So that's that sling, dangerous tackle, causes concussion. McHenry didn't play. They do have... I wanted to show this, so this is straight after Darcy Fogarty. This is straight after that. Had a statement to make physically against Lycett in a showdown. He's supposed to be the enforcer, Darcy Fogarty. I was really disappointed with that effort, and you may say, well, it's a 50-50 one, but that's what showdowns are built on. That's what Rashudo and Carr in the past would have done. Your teammate gets hurt by the opposition, you go and hurt them the next time you had to do that. I thought it was a pretty meek tackle from Darcy Fogarty, but they've got ruck back up. They've got Peter Laddams and also Sam Hayes waiting in the sample, who's been in good form.
Travis Boak won his 3rd Showdown medal, but you've got a different Saturday star here on the round so far.
Yeah, I'm a bit sick of the midfielders dominating. Well done to Boakey, what a career. He's phenomenal, play game number 300 soon. But defenders and forwards need some love for the influence they had. Tom Cleary was the best man on the ground. I thought. 10 intercept possessions, 17 disposals, absolutely smashed one of the hottest players in the game, Taylor Walker, kept him to 3 kicks on the night, played in front, played aggressive, won the one-on-ones and marked the footy and used it exceptionally well with his 13 kicks. So the best player on the ground was Tom Cleary, and it's about time that umpires, that media, that people that vote on these medals recognise other players than just midfielders. And he was just exceptional tonight, Tom Cleary, one of the games of his career.
We touched on it briefly last week, the pressure the Crows put on Taylor Walker to perform and the expectations on him. These are alarming statistics, Kane. So when you combine the goals and goals assists for the players around the competition, 40% of Adelaide's goals come direct from Taylor Walker.
Yeah, so you play against the Crows, just put 2 on Tex. Don't worry about anyone else. If Phil Thorpe's going to kick 5 on you in game number 1, good luck to him. He kicked a couple tonight, but McAdam got dropped. He's their second goal scorer. Their small forwards have been nowhere, Adelaide. So anyone who plays against the Crows, just double team Taylor Walker, drop an extra behind and leave your man to go and help in the air, because if you keep him scoreless like tonight, they have no other avenues to goal, unfortunately, and it's a real concern for Adelaide that they're so reliant on a 30-year-old to kick or assist in 40% of their scores.
The Power keep 3rd spot on the table. To our AAMI clangers next, Kane. We couldn't look past this one to kick things off on Friday night. Jason Castagna just gets the wrong side of the ball.
Yeah, we've all been there. Maybe not to that level, but he's usually good at the snap. And this one from Jeremy Cameron, what a night he had. This was for goal number 7, the easiest one he's done in Malcolm Blight. He thought the points were the goals, I reckon. What has happened there, Jez? But he was awesome, as were the Cats.
Cam Zurhaar was involved in probably 5 of the most amazing moments of the game today. He falls over and still finds a target in Jack Marnie without his boot. How stiff is this Crows fan rocking up to the Showdown tonight?
Surrounded in black and white. He's not happy, is he? Tough night. And this Sydney fan giving Tom McDonald some advice as he's about to snap for his 3rd shot on goal, I think it was. Didn't work though. Had no effect at all, and all he could do was sit back and say, "Too good, Tom."
Yep, you got to cop. That's almost like the Collingwood fans with the Dom Sheed one. One more AAMI clanger though, Kane. Zach Sproul from the Giants playing his 3rd game of footy, 5 years on the list. They weren't able to sing the song because of the Sydney COVID restrictions. Well, he brought this upon himself.
Yeah, I've got a Powerade here. Unfortunately, because of COVID-19, you're not allowed to give it. No one allowed to have a Gatorade house. I'm going to give myself one. Oh shit! What a win! Good feel. Good feel. A little extra.
He
loves it.
He's the academy player from the Giants, so 2 goals of him today.
Good on
his
him.
3rd game of league footy. The Giants, though, they were 30 points up in the 3rd quarter. They scraped home. This was with 90 seconds left on the clock. Could have been a free kick to Cale Hooker to put the Bombers in front.
Yeah, I'm okay with the umpire letting this one go. Minutes ago, 50-50. You don't want games decided by 50-50 call, so I'm okay with that. The ball goes down the other end. We see a forward stoppage here. Mumford's 4-0 when he plays for the Giants. Wins another big contested footy out of the ruck, and the Giants score to put them up by, 8 points with 30 seconds to go.
The Bombers did kick one more goal after this, but it was far too late. Almost eerily similar to last year when the Bombers pushed late against the Giants and were just able to miss out. That's now the 3rd loss for the Bombers this year by 3 points or less. All of a sudden, they're 2-6.
Yeah, I know, and there's a lot to like about Essendon. And once again, the way that they hung in there today nearly pulled off a victory, but they've lost 1 by 3 points, 1 by 2 points, and 1 by a point. So at some point, that overwhelms your season, and you almost lose that ability to get it done in close games. So as good as they've been and as impressive as some of their youngsters have been, they've been poor in big moments in 3 games this year.
And Jake Stringer injured his hamstring today, so that'll be a concern for the Bombers going forward. The Giants dominated the contested possession game. We wanted to look at what's happened this year when they do win the contested possessions. Apart from round 1, that's pretty clear statement there.
Yeah, and you can see how much of a focus it is for Leon Cameron. You look at the Amazon documentary and how strong he is in enforcing that message to his players over a long period of time, and that was what made them so strong against Adelaide last week. They smashed them in there. They won it again today, and that's what they build their game around. So forget the flipping the ball out and the orange tsunami and the Ferrari and all that sort of stuff. The cornerstone of their game has always been that contested stuff, and those numbers back it up.
4 of their last 5. They're on a bit of a hot streak at the moment, the Giants. No Jesse Hogan today. He was out through injury. Jeremy Finlayson was asked to stand up in attack. But this will be looked at by Michael Christian.
It will be. I'm not sure. I think it looks worse than it is. I think he gets him on the shoulder, doesn't he? And then it slides up to the neck. So It's a fine, it's 1 week. You know,
Yeah.
It was a stupid action, and he's got a bit of that in him, Jeremy Finlayson. We saw him punch the goalpost in Adelaide last year and be quite demonstrative, and he can be undisciplined. So he got to get that out of his game. That was a brain fade. Now, he's lucky that no serious damage was done.
Yeah, if it's low impact and head-high contact, it's most likely, and careless, it'll most likely be a fine, so he might escape with nothing there. Back to Friday night, Richmond Kane. This is so uncharacteristic from them. Their defence has held up so well for so long. You don't see this very often.
The wheels were off, weren't they? I mean, that wasn't one effort. We'll show probably 10 all in the third quarter here. I mean, this is broad. This is premiership players under no pressure making horrible mistakes that cost them the game. Look at the score there with only 14 minutes to go in the third quarter.
And these are all in the third quarter.
You watch the score completely get away from Richmond on the back of their own errors. And it was drop marks, it was turnovers, another drop mark there, simple, no pressure. Tom Hawkins was amazing with 16 score involvements, which would have to be a season high. But time after time, you see missed tackles in big moments there. The effort from Pickett was poor. They make the most of that with Isaac Smith, Gary Rowan here, and then more just on repeat. Unbelievable. You haven't seen anything like this from Richmond probably since they lost 9 in a row when Damien Hardwick first took over. So was it a blemish, or are we starting to see a pattern here from Richmond? I would think it's the latter. Because I would think it is, yeah. It's not the first time that's happened this year. Look at these numbers. You don't see a Richmond side dominated like this probably since, that last game in 2016 when everyone was calling for Damien Hardwick's head. But that was a phenomenal performance from Geelong. I think the competition needed it. I think the competition is so open. We've got 6 teams that could probably win the premiership. We've got 10 who can make the top 8 or 12 perhaps. And season is on. I reckon the competition needed it, but I'd be a little bit concerned if I was Richmond right now. Not that they have to be because of their history, but in terms of where they sit amongst the best teams in the competition right now, they're not amongst the best now.
All right, well, they've lost 4 of their last 6. You spoke about the Cats. Joel Selwood, inspirational in the win. This is an effort on half-time you wanted to point out.
He's unbelievable. So he's one of the best captains I've ever seen, and he's one of the toughest players I've ever seen. So certainly in the modern era, so you look at Jonathan Brown and Hodge, Selwood is every bit in this conversation. I thought he was almost done 2 years ago, and then look at this. This is textbook how to pick up the ball in a contested situation. It's just too tough. The technique is beautiful. I'm glad he was cleared, and thank goodness, because I would have been concerned for the game if there was anything to see there. But if you want to learn how to be a tough, contested, great, inspirational captain, go and get his tape, young kids out there, and watch Joel Selwood. You're born like that. You can't teach the courage that he's got, but he was enormous, and his stats didn't do his performance and his influence justice.
And it's good to see him being played as a pure inside mid for the first time in a couple of years for all the games so far this year. Just another concern for Richmond. They were already missing Dylan Grimes with concussion, Dion Prestia, Kane Lambert. Looks like Shane Edwards might miss a bit of time on the sidelines with an ankle setback.
Yeah, so Prestia, Koch and Edwards, they're 3 best midfielders with Martin. Makes it tough from here.
Yeah. To Marvel Stadium today, Collingwood, they snapped a 5-game losing streak. Kane, all the talk during the week was where Darcy Moore was going to play. Back in defence, he took a career-high 19 marks. Yeah,
so the best thing about this for Collingwood, they got their better players who are down on form back into some form. So De Goey is one of those you mentioned. Moore here with career-high numbers, but also Grundy, 25 disposals. Crisp has been down across half-back, bounced back. Maynard had plenty of it. I think he had 32 across half-back. And De Goey kicked 6 and responded to some pretty strong criticism. And so he should. I mean, let's do this in big games.
Yeah.
Jordan De Goey, let's not feast on perhaps one of the worst AFL sides we've ever seen and kick 6.
And Aiden Bonham was the matchup, it didn't work.
So he's done what he's needed to do, but let's see it in big moments up against good opposition. Now, he clearly had a strong talking to, if you believe the reports from his teammates. Well done for responding, but we need to see consistency for Jordan De Goey, otherwise his career will continue to peter out.
It's 8 losses on the trot now for the Roos under their new coach, David Noble, Kane, and it's hard to see where the next win is going to come from with efforts like this.
Yeah, some of their decision-making, skill execution under no pressure. I mean, we're seeing things that you should never see on an AFL field. So the biggest concern for North, it's fine to rebuild, and that's okay, provided you get your draft picks right and you've got the talent coming through. I'm not sure they have. I struggle to get excited about many young players on North's list. And I like Simpkin, but he's been around for a while now. Davies Uniacke, he shows glimpses without being consistent. It's not first or second year. We're starting to get into almost your sweet spot of where you should be. So Phillips, I'm not sure about. He was a sub today, so I'm just not sure they've got their picks right, and they certainly haven't got their list management right. Where's Jared Pollock at?
Yeah.
The players that they've targeted. So they're the biggest question marks north. I hope I'm wrong, because if they haven't got it, it's going to be a Carlton 20-year rebuild from what we've seen.
I'm just concerned now that 8 weeks into the season, they're falling away in games now. What's going to happen in 5-10 weeks when the season's going on, as long as it is? So that's a big concern going on for the Roos from here. To Marvel Stadium next, Kane. To Metricon Stadium, rather. This is a game St Kilda simply had to win, and they trailed at three-quarter time. The Suns let them back into the game.
Yeah, only kicked 4 goals to three-quarter time, the Saints, and you're pretty glass half empty if you're the St Kilda fan to them. They kicked 4 in the last quarter, largely due to Paddy Ryder. His last quarter was phenomenal, not only with his influence in the ruck, but also when he went forward. And this is a big goal from Brad Crouch as well, and you can see the emotion once this one goes through. It was a tsunami in the end. It was a tidal wave for St Kilda. Weight against. They held Gold Coast goalless in the last quarter. Huge win. They're now 4-4.
Yeah.
Big game next week against Geelong on Friday night, which will be a serious test for them. We'll judge them a bit more when they play decent opposition. But it was a win that they had to have and keeps their season alive. They look much better with Marshall and Ryder in that side.
And 10 touches for Crouch in that final quarter, probably one of his best games so far for his new club. There's a bit of tension in this game, Kane. We wanted to go to the videotape on these. A few little spot fires breaking out through the game. So we thought, we'll go down behind the goals and see who may have instigated this. Max King may have been the last player you thought might have started this one.
Yeah, you would have. He's frustrated by the attention that he's got, and that's my concern for Max because of their poor ball use, the Saints, and Ryder off the ball here just on half-time started another little melee. But Max is getting a lot of attention. He's frustrated. That's why they look a lot better when Marshall or Ryder is there supporting him, because Membry had no influence today. He needs help because the opposition just go after a young kid and it's not the ideal development for him. But a bit of feeling. Well done to the Saints for holding on in a tough, hard-fought win.
And it must be said, a disappointing loss for the Suns. They had their own chance to go to 4-4 today and fell away in the dying stages. One of their best players was Took Miller, though. This might be looked at for this bump on Nick Caulfield, given he chose to bump and has taken him higher.
Doesn't look great, does it? If he got him higher,
if he did, we'll
wait for the medical report. But choose to bump, get him higher, cost yourself a week.
To the ladder we go next. This is halfway through round 8 as it sits. Melbourne sitting pretty on top, and the Power came. They kept spot in top 3.
Yeah, that's the top 8 there as we look at the lower half of the ladder as well and who is involved in perhaps pushing towards it. The Giants certainly have kept their season alive, as have the Saints. There's probably 10 teams realistically a chance, and who knows what Carlton can do tomorrow. Massive game for them to keep their season alive and stay in touch with the Giants and the Saints.
To the rest of the round we go next. Interested with the Dogs changes. No Stephen Martin, he's got Achilles soreness. Tim English still missing, and they've left Jamara Ugle-Hagen out again. He's an emergency.
Yeah, that's the game of the day, isn't it? That Western Bulldogs Carlton one at Marvel. Dogs play that ground so well, and can they respond from their loss last week? We'll see.
So one more thing, we wouldn't be able to finish the show without showing this weekend. How about this from Shea Bolton? You called for them to re-sign this guy 6 weeks ago. He's adding dollars to his contract week by week.
Yeah, sometimes it pays off to hold out with your contract. He's going to get offers, between 700 and 800 from other clubs. Certainly the Western Australian interest. That is a genuine specky. That's everything we love about our game, and it's the best mark I've seen in a long time. Beautifully captured as well by Michael Wilson.
Michael Wilson does not miss a moment. That is a ripper.
It's one of the great photos I've ever seen. Like in the history of AFL footy, you're not going to see a better photo than that. I know technology has improved from yesteryear, but wow, that was unbelievable. Well done.
Wonder if Ralph Carr will just go and take that photo into negotiations for Richmond when he goes and does his contract.
Well, without him, they'd be in a lot of strife because he's such a tough on-baller and can go forward. So he's everything you want in your midfield and forward.
All right, Kane, thanks for that. I'll see you next week. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there for tomorrow. We'll see you same time, same place here on The Round So Far next week.